Hi, this is Bob from Aspire at Siuslaw and Mapleton High Schools, and we are now working in video 3, part 3 of completing the FAFSA. And at this point, in part 2, the parent information on financial status was recorded, and now we're going to look at the student tax filing information. So, starting here, for 2018, and remember, as stated previously, that is the tax year prior to the year in which the FAFSA opened up for completion. That is to say, this FAFSA opened up on October 1st of 2019 for filling out, and so the tax year that we're looking at is 2018. So, for 2018, have you completed your IRS income tax return or another tax return? And here, you're going to state whether or not you did file a tax return, or you're going to file one, or you're not going to file one. And of course, you don't have to file one unless your income was over a certain level, and that level can be looked up. But a number of our students don't, with their part-time jobs, don't earn enough to have to file a tax return, although they may want to because of the possibility of getting a refund from the IRS. Then, what income tax return did you file? So if you did file one, was it the IRS 1040 or one of the other ones listed in that box? For 2018, what is your tax filing status? Was it single? Was it head of household? Married filing jointly, married filing separately, etc. Now, you have the option of using the IRS data retrieval tool just as your parent did as explained in part 2. And what that means is, if this link works, if you did file a tax return and this link works, then the FAFSA will retrieve your tax information from the IRS database and bring it in and put it into the appropriate boxes in the FAFSA. So, if we can make that work, that's terrific. If not, we will have to fill in the information by hand from what you know, not necessarily from a tax return if you didn't file. So, moving on to the next screen, we link to the IRS, and let's click on that. Okay, now log into the IRS data retrieval tool, and you do that by providing the student's FSA ID and password. That would be yours in this case. And then we hit next. And yes, we know that we're leaving the FAFSA site and we're proceeding to the IRS site, so we click on this box. And yes, we do know what we're doing here, and yes, it's okay. We understand that this is for authorized use only. Now, as with the parent that you were working on behalf of or working with, you're going to put your name, first name, last name, social security number, date of birth, the status under which you filed, and the state and zip code, and then you're going to submit that, and hopefully the information will be transferred into now we're going to try clicking on transfer now, but I believe it didn't work the last time. So we will at this point just move to the next slide, and that will take us to here. And at this point, if it worked, you will get this message: you have successfully transferred your 2018 IRS tax information. So now we're going to go on to the next slide. How much did you earn from working? Wages, salaries, tips, etc. in 2018. That information was transferred from the IRS database. Did you file an IRS Schedule K-1 Form 1065? You will have to determine if you did, and if so, you will mark yes. If not, mark no, and move to the next slide. Enter the amount of your income tax for 2018. That's been transferred over from the database. Now, there are some things you have to answer here. Did you receive combat pay? Probably not. Student college grant and scholarship aid reported to the IRS. This is something that as a first year, as a high school senior going into college, you probably don't have any aid that you reported, but perhaps you will as you refile for your sophomore, junior, and senior years. Education credits transferred from the IRS. Untaxed portions of IRA distributions transferred. Did the untaxed portions of IRA distributions and pensions you reported for 2018 include rollovers? I doubt very much that you would have anything to indicate here. This is more for people who have built up some retirement funds over time. Then, IRA deductions and payments to self-employed various to self-employed qualified plans transferred from the IRS. Tax-exempt interest income from IRS form transferred. So you don't have to worry about any of those if the data retrieval tool worked. If not, you will have to answer some of those questions. All right, we go on to the next section here. Did you have any of the following items in 2018? Child support you paid because of divorce or separation? Probably not. Earnings from work under a cooperative education program offered by a college? Possibly, if you are filling this out for your sophomore, junior, or senior year in college, but probably not if you're filling it out for your freshman year. Taxable earnings from the need-based employment programs such as federal work study and need-based employment programs of, again, possible, not likely going into your freshman year, but possible for sophomore, junior, and senior years. All right, moving along to the next slide. Did you have any of the following items? Child support received? Probably not. Housing, food, and living allowances paid to members of the military? This is you, remember, so probably not. Payments to tax-deferred pension and retirement savings plans? Probably not. Veterans non-education benefits? I would say probably not. Other untaxed income not reported, such as worker compensation, disability benefits, etc., probably not. Money received or paid on your behalf, not reported elsewhere in this form. That's for you to decide. This includes money that you received from a parent or other person whose financial information is not reported on this form, and that is not part of a legal child support agreement. So you'll have to determine, check with family members if there was any money received that would apply there. Then we go to the next slide. As of today, what is your total current balance of cash, savings, and checking accounts? As of today, what is the net worth of your investments, including real estate, not your home? And as of today, what is the net worth of your current business and or investment farms? Again, as with the parent section, don't include a family farm or family business with 100 or fewer full-time employees. And probably if you are a student in high school, it's not likely that you have a business that has 100 or more employees. Next screen. Application successfully saved. Are you a preparer? The answer is probably no. They even say this is rare. That would be for someone who had prepared this whole thing for you, not a parent. I don't think they're thinking of that. I believe they're referring to a professional tax preparer. So the answer there will probably be no. Now, we come to a summary of everything, all the information that's been put in by you and parents, or you on behalf of parents, and that's all going to be on this screen. This is a long screen. They've broken it up so that you can see most of it here, but it is just simply one long stream of information. And it's a good idea to review this and make sure that it all looks correct. Then you move on. There's more here. So there's quite a bit of information that you've now provided, and this is a summary of it, item by item. And still more. And now, you have reached the sign and submit section. You are not a preparer. You do not need to fill that in. So let's go on to the next screen. Now, notice here that you are required to sign electronically, and your parent, who has provided information for this and has taken out or signed up for their own FSA ID, also needs to electronically sign. So that's going to be fairly straightforward. What you're going to do is to put in your, well, first of all, you have to answer some questions. These are terms and conditions. You'll want to take a look at those and make sure that you agree to those. And then we move on to the signature. And the way you electronically sign here is to enter your FSA ID and FSA password, and then you click the sign button, and then you move over to the parent side. And now the parent will have to sign, and it's the same idea. It could be one parent or it could be two, depending on your living arrangements, circumstances, what parent you live with, what parent you provided information for in the FAFSA, etc. All right, so then we move to the final statements here. This is the parent agreeing to those terms and conditions. So we click Next, and this is the parent signing electronically. Okay, now they both indicated signed electronically. So you can now hit the Submit My FAFSA Now button, and that gives you a congratulatory message that you have filed. Now, there is some information that we are going to talk about in video number 4, part 4, and it has to do with certain factors that we've encountered here that you might need some more information about, and we're also going to cover what you do if you have questions as you're working on this that you need help from FAFSA to answer. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the results and how you interpret the results once you get notified that you have that the processing has been completed. So once you've read all of this and you're ready to move on to part 4, please do so. Thank you.